We have already understood the agency conflict, concept of agency conflict. Now what we are going to do in this video, we'll try to understand it with various example. Okay, so let's start with the first example where the agency conflict is very much being shown in the in India. So you must be knowing about the Infosys company. Now what has happened? What is the structure? That is, Infosys company is owned by few shareholders. Okay, so there are the shareholders into the Infosys company. For example, even you, if you buy the shares of the Infosys, then you will become the shareholder of the Infosys. Okay, now there will be few management which is going to manage this Infosys company. Okay, that is in a way, again, this is nothing but its shareholders are the principal and your management are the agents who should work in the interest of the shareholders. Now what is the conflict, or what was the agency problem here? So what has happened actually, that last year that your package or your salary of the CEO was very there was increment in the package of the management, top level management like CEO, CFO is very large. Okay, so now what has happened, because of this there is a less money which is available, which is going to be available for the shareholder. Remember, if you go by your basic account, whatever the revenue will earn, from that revenue will remove the expenditure including taxes, interest, all other things, then whatever left, that is your PAT, and this is the profit after tax which is left for the shareholders. Okay, so this is a PAT on which the shareholder is having their right. Now if your expenditure increases, of course your PAT will decrease. Now one part of your expenditure is the salaries of the executive. This is the one part of the expenditure. Okay, so salary is a part of expenditure. So as the salaries increase, okay, so I am not saying that salary need not to be, should not be increased. If it has increased disproportionately, for example, if you can see that there is 60 to 70% increase in the compensation of the top level manager. So if there is a very large increase in the salary, so what would happen? There will be less PAT will be left for the shareholder. In a way, you can say that management is going against the shareholder interest against the principal interest, and the contention is this, the top level, okay, so top level person's salary is increased by 60 to 70%. Okay, so it's not as bad thing. If company is performing very good, then you can increase it. But having said that, the company should perform better. If company is performing better, then lower staff value salary should also be increased, so which is increased only by 6 to 8%. So what I want to say here, that salary increment as such is not a problem if it is in line with the company performance. If it is not in line with the company performance, it may be that company is performing, let's say, is increasing, company growth is by 8% only, whereas you are increasing your salary to 60 to 70%. That is the wrong thing. That is the wrong thing. Now against this, that SEBI or as well as our new company act has given some mechanism. We will talk about those mechanisms. Now another way where and again this was a real example of the agency conflict, and again with the company of Infosys. What was happened? There is a company which is Panaya company, which is Israel company, that is Israel based company. Now Infosys has bought this company. Okay, so what was the case is something like this. A person is there, owner of the Panaya, who is owning this Panaya company. Okay, so it's an Israeli person. So what would happen, that Infosys company will pay the money to Panaya person, this owner, to the Panaya. Now Panaya, what would happen, that ownership will shift from the this owner, that previous Panaya owner, to the Infosys. So structure would be look something like this. Okay, so now this was the structure, that is ownership of the Panaya company is transferred to the Infosys in return of this money. Now what was the contention here? Why we are saying it's against the interest of the shareholder, allegedly against the interest of the shareholder? I would not say that it has been proved or something like that, but yes, it was against the interest of the shareholder. Why it is the interest against the interest of the shareholder? If this transaction is overvalued, then it is going to be cost not the management but to the shareholder. So allegation was something like this. I will just take a very wrong number, but for the from the perspective of illustration, it's a kind of good number. Let's say the actual value of this Panaya company is 100 crore. Okay, this is the actual value of this Panaya company. Okay, so that is, if it has been bought honestly, then it's cost the Infosys company 100 crore rupees. Now in place of 100 crore, what has done, that Infosys company paid 200 crores. Infosys company has paid 200 crores to the Panaya owner. Okay, so in a way there is a hit of 100 crore. That extra 100 crore has been paid. Extra 100 crore has been paid, and it has been paid by whom? Not by the Infosys management, but by the Infosys shareholder. Infosys company which is paying the extra 100 crore rupees, and who will take that hit? It is the shareholder who will take that hit, because these are the owner. Management is not the owner. For example, earlier we were having the Narayan Murthy as a part of management. So Narayan Murthy was very much part of shareholder as well as the management. But at that time when this scheme was happening, that Mr. Sikka was CEO at that time, and he is a part of management only. So now what is happened in this scenario? That is, this person has got extra 100 rupees. Now why the management will extra 100 crore rupees? Why the management will do this thing? Why they will give the benefit to the owner? Because owner may have promised them, okay, I will give you back 10, I will give the management, not the company, I will give the management 50 crore rupees. So what would happen in this case? Management has earned extra 50 crore rupees, owner of the PNI has earned extra 50 crore rupees, but at the cost of shareholder or actual owner of the company. So this is again an example where the management is going against the shareholders interest. Okay, so this has been written, if deal is overvalued, then owner of the PNI will be happy, and but of the Infosys will be sad, and owner of the Infosys is shareholder. Management is not the owner. For this, CEO eligible to get some kickback. It was allegation on the CEO that he has got some kickback, and this allegation is put by none other than the Narayan Murthy itself. Okay. Now, this is the one example of agency conflict. Let's look at the another one more example of insider trading. Now, again, this is, you will find it into very much into the news. Now, it was something like this. Let's say there is a company, ABC Public Limited Company, and there is a various shareholder into this company. Okay. Now, there is a management who is working into this company on the behalf of the shareholder as an agent of the shareholders, and it is very obvious that this person is going to have some inside information which is price sensitive of the shares. If, for example, this ABC company is buying some XYZ company. Okay, some XYZ company they are going to buy, and buying this XYZ company may affect the share price of the company in positive direction or in the negative direction. If this acquisition is good, then definitely it is going to increase the share price of this ABC company. So this management is already know this information. Okay, so now where the shareholder who are outside the company, although owner of the company, but they are outside of the company, they don't have any information. So what we would say, that manager has some price sensitive information which is not in public domain, that is shareholder don't know about this. So this scenario is called the information asymmetry. That is one part of, that is agent having some information, but principal is not having that information. Ideally, principal should also have that information because he is the actual owner of that company. Now, what would happen in that case? This person, if he use this information to get the advantage, for example, whatever the information this manager is having, and according to that information, if that information come into the public domain, then price of the share will increase. So what this person will do, he will buy the shares of this from this person. Okay, so insider himself use this insider information to buy the shares or sell the share in case that there is some information, because you know that manager is also also knowing about the financial of the number. Okay, if financial of the company, that is its profit and loss for the year, what would be that thing. Now if the profit will be less in the coming days, profit is less, and their financial statement, it already know about the financial statement of the company before coming into the public domain, and if it is less, profit is less, in that case shares of the price will decrease. So what he will do, he will sell those shares. Okay, so that he will get some benefit type of thing. So this selling and buying, in fact he can sell the shares before buying the shares. This is a derivative. In the derivative market he can play the game, so he can use this information. You can take it that you can use this information to get the advantage. Now this is an example of insider trading. Another way he can do the same thing by hiring somebody else, that is his friend or somebody, that he will tell him, okay, so that is price sensitive information, and this person who in a way who is acting on the behalf of the manager, and what he will do, he will use this information to buy and sell of the shares and get the advantage. So this is what is the example of insider trading, and there is various price sensitive information example has been given here, like declaration of dividend, acquire, selling of some business unit. Okay, some there are various examples, like where a number of the financial statements, all those are the example which is price sensitive information. So this is again an insider trading example, and here also you can see that this person that is insider person or the outsider, but working on the behalf of insider only, this person is getting benefit at the cost of the shareholder. Okay, so that is agent is not working in the interest of principal. This is again an example of agency conflict, and that's why you need to you require somebody who will look after for this small size shareholders. Okay, so and it's very important to keep the interest of the to take care the interest of the small size investor rather than the big size investor, because big size investor is having the enough muscle power to protect himself, but small size investor don't have enough muscle power. For that you need to have some regulator type of thing, like SEBI is there in our case, in our country, who will look after that thing. Okay,